Welcome, friends! Thanks for joining me today for the Seattle Children's Museum's SCM at Home. My name is Amy, and we'll be doing part 2 of Matisse painting with scissors today. Alright, I have, for us to get started, first an essential materials list, and then a few things that you might like to try working with. Okay, you're going to need some paper. Doesn't matter which colors you have. I hope that you like them. They can be scrap pieces. They can be textured. You can have white paper in there as well, or not, depending. You're going to need a glue stick or some glue. I prefer the glue stick because it's easier to work with, less messy. There you go. I've also brought a few things from nature to kind of give me some inspiration, as well as the plant that we used last week, so we can talk about that as well. Okay. Now these are the pictures that we did last week, and I'd love to see what yours look like. One of the things we're going to talk about today is a word called symmetry. All right, symmetry. Do you know that word? Have you ever heard it used in an art class or maybe even science? Symmetry is where you've got something that when you line it up, it's the same on both sides. When you make a heart for a Valentine, that's symmetrical. Anytime that you fold your paper and it turns out that you've made something that's exactly the same, a mirror image on each side, that is symmetrical. Okay? Let's take a look at this flower. Is it exactly symmetrical? That's hard for nature to do, to make something that's precisely symmetrical, but nature is full of a lot of really good examples of where you can have symmetry. It may not be perfect at replicating it, but does a pretty darn good job. I am somewhat symmetrical. I have 2 hands, I have 2 feet, I have 2 eyes on each side of my head. So if I put a line right down the middle of my body, it would be mostly the same on each side. When we're working with our scissors, then we can make something exactly the same on both sides by folding our paper in half. I'll do it with this one. This is a really big piece of paper and I don't need all of it, so I'll just cut a small section off right now. And when I do this, I could decide to fold it anyway. If I fold it this way and then I cut, this is going to be my line of symmetry. But if I fold it this way, that long edge would be my line of symmetry. I'm interested in seeing what you come up with when you do that. Let me see what you've done. You can get a hold of us and show us your work through Facebook, Twitter, or our Instagram. I think I'm going to do this long side. And I'm feeling like it would be fun to do a really big splotchy space. See what kind of a shape I get going on here. There's a roundish edges, and here come some not round edges, maybe. This is my line of symmetry. And there's my creation. What do you think that looks like to you? All right, now on to another big idea that Matisse was really excited about working with. Positive and negative space. Okay, positive space is the thing that takes up space. Negative space is all this area around the thing that takes up space. A balance of positive and negative space are pleasing in a piece of artwork. Everyone gets to decide for themselves what makes that beautiful. And here, upside down, but here is my positive and then my negative space with a few other bits in here. All right? I think I'm going to use these in my artwork. I can't decide if that's an alien or an instrument. We'll see what we come up with. Today, I want to make a big piece. So I got a bigger piece of paper. I got inspired by Matisse's work around the circus. He did a lot of things with nature, but he also did a whole circus series. So I'm going to show you the picture that got me thinking today. All right. Yeah, it's hard to find a picture sometimes. Right. Can you tell what Matisse was doing here? What was he making a picture about? What does that look like to you? What do you notice about these repeating shapes? What about these shapes? And what about this one? What was the artist doing here? Does that give you any ideas to work with? When we have a repeating shape or a repeating color with a shape, it's called a pattern. I bet you've made lots of patterns before. See what you can do with your artwork. So that was the piece that got me really thinking about doing something big and more bold today. But I do like putting these upside down. Do you remember my line of symmetry? This way. This way, they don't match so much. Nope. Remember, if you're having a hard time getting your piece to stick, you can always go back in, put a little dab on there, and do that. All right? Matisse would sometimes use the leftover bits in his work too. If you take a look at him online or in your books and you happen to see some of his work, see if you can notice where he's used the leftover bits, right? and see what that can inspire you to do. Now I have this really bright color, and I'm really interested in using it today. It kind of reminds me of this flower, although I have just the brightest one. Yeah, I think so. I think this is as close as I come to this. Not quite the same, but I'm going to give it a go. Let's see. This is pretty closely built on the shape of a circle. So we'll see if I can make a circle. Maybe it won't be exactly a circle. I'm not sure. Oh, here we go. I've changed my mind already. But it will have a circle bottom. All right, I'm going to put some more of that negative space in there. I'm going to make really small little pieces that come out. Sort of like some of the leaves that Matisse was using. All right, we looked at my leaves, and we looked at the neighbor's plants. That's pretty awesome. See what you can find around your house or your neighbor's as you take a walk. Oh, those are my little bits. I'm not sure how I'm going to use those. Maybe we will. Do you remember the little leaves or teardrop shapes that were around the picture that Matisse did, the one that we looked at for the circus? Alright, I think that one's kind of fun. What shall we put in there? What do you see at home that inspires you to work on some art? Do you see anything in the backyard? Again, I'm doing those cutout pieces, that positive and negative space. All right, put that down there. This paper isn't sticking as well. All right, now, with that, where should I put this piece? I'm going to keep looking to see what I can find that really inspires me. Maybe putting it in one particular place makes me think of it as being a specific thing. For instance, if I put it right here, it kind of sort of looks to me like it could be the mouth on an alien who's wearing a really fancy, amazing hat. Maybe. I don't know. But if that's the case, then I'm going to need, well, if this alien has eyes, I'm going to need eyes. Can I make them symmetrical? Let's see what we have. I've got these little bits here. Try this. Okay. I have an idea. Some of these little bits are really hard to handle. But just be patient with yourself. All right. That's the beginning of my picture. I hope you'll share yours with me. Remember, you can find us at thechildrensmuseum.org or Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you there. Thanks.